I went to Japan recently. It's like a theme tonight. But I did. I went to Japan recently on tour with my rock band. We just went over there and just rocked the fuck out of those people. And I don't know how many of you, thank you, have ever been to Japan before, but I had never been there before. And I can honestly say it's the most awesome and amazing place on earth. It's like super beautiful and futuristic, and like everyone's weirdly excited about everything all the time. There's like a higher usage of exclamation points per capita and everything. And there's so many amazing things about Japan. My favorite thing is, in fact, the toilets. And it's not like here in America where we have one basic kind of toilet. And I'm not complaining, like we have a fine toilet, like I have a decent enough track record with it and everything. But over in Japan, they have all like 4 or 5 different kind of toilets, and I would just use them wherever and whenever possible. And I want to tell you about my favorite toilet they have over there. And I'd seen it the whole time we were over there, but I never felt like I had the level of privacy or intimacy I needed to really go to town on this thing until I finally had my own hotel room, the last stop of the tour, Tokyo, and it had one of these toilets. And this toilet, to the naked eye, it looks pretty much like a regular toilet, but then on the side there's like this command center, sort of like in a jet fighter or something. And then you know how like in Europe they have the bidet? It's sort of like a European like ass blasting machine or whatever. Well, I had seen those before, but I had never bothered to use them because I figured if I wanted my ass to be all wet and drippy, like I never would have gone into the bathroom in the first place. Anyway, in Japan, they combine the toilet and the bidet into this one futuristic thing I can't even wrap my head around. Our last show's like, the tour is like 2 hours away. I know this is no time to be getting into trouble or anything, but I'm like, this is it. This is my time to shine, right? And so the guys are waiting downstairs, and I'm like, all right, I go in the bathroom and I shut the door behind me. I sit down to use the toilet. I'm pretty far along in the transaction when I look on the command center thing, and there's this button, and it's got like what looks like the letter M on it, and then above it's like these water droplets coming down, and that's like the butt button, right? And then in front of that, there's like this volume knob or something. I just like crank it up as high as it'll go because I'm just like, fuck it, I'm on vacation. And then I close my eyes and I hit the butt button. This jet stream comes out. I don't know if there's an electronic eye on this thing or what that scanned me, but somehow like I hit the butt button and it just like found me right where I needed to be found. And like up until that point in my life, I never given much thought like, oh, if I get blasted in the anus with water, or what temperature and water pressure do I want it to be? But it doesn't matter because the Japanese have figured that out for you too. As it turns out, it's exactly 72 degrees, and it's not so much like being like violently poked in the anus. It's more like just kind of like being gently tapped in the anus over, and it's beautiful. So I just start hitting the butt button over and over, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And after like 45 minutes, I'm like drenched in sweat. I'm like fading in and out of consciousness and everything. I look down at the command center again. There's this other button. It's got like the silhouette of a lady on it, like sort of on a women's restroom. And I'm thinking like, well, that's the lady parts button, right? And, but I'm like, oh, I'm not a lady. Like, I don't even know how the electronic eye would assess the situation. I don't want to confuse the technology, but then I was just like, fuck, when am I going to start living my life? And I close my eyes again, and I hit the lady parts button, and it just like blasts me, like right in like, you know, like the taint area. And you know how you spend your whole life thinking like, well, I don't want anyone blasting me in the taint with water. Please don't blast me in the taint. But then you do get blasted in the taint with water, and you're like, how the fuck did I go my whole life without getting blasted in the taint with water, like every single day? So I start hitting the taint button over and over, and I go back to the butt button, I go back to the taint button, I go back to the button, and I'm going butt, taint, butt, taint. Finally, after like 2 hours of this, I'm like blinded by that bright light they talk about, and I'm like floating over my own body. And one of my bandmates like barges into my room, and he's like, come on, we gotta go rock the fuck out of Japan. So I pulled up my pants, and I marched out of there, and I rocked the fuck out of Tokyo with a cleaner ass and taint area than anyone that's ever rocked the fuck out of Tokyo before. Thank you.